Hi there, this is Chauke. I'm a professional teacher for accounting. If you're watching this, you're definitely at the right place. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button down there, and also don't forget to like this video, leave your comments, and also tell your friends to also watch and leave their comments. So with that out of the way, let's get into the lesson of the day. In today's lesson, we're going to be looking at debtors reconciliation, and this is one of the most important topics that we will ever do in accounting. It is there in grade 10 up until grade 12, but obviously the levels of complexity increases. So for this lesson, because it's a grade 10 lesson, I'm going to be looking at a debtors reconciliation and the list. Now, a question may arise: why do we end up having to do debtors reconciliation? Now, this is because as a business, you normally sell to your customers on cash, but sometimes there comes a need for a business to sell on credit, probably because they want to avoid having too much stock available, because at that moment people don't have money. So as a result, a business end up having to sell to customers on credit with the hope that they will pay at a later stage. So now sometimes you will notice that as we sell to our customers on credit, we record as a business, and we also update the individual ledger accounts of these customers that we are selling to. And it can happen that sometimes the control account, which is the summary of all our debtors, as well as the debtors list, which is the individual accounts of the debtors, it can happen that sometimes those two items are not the same, and as a result of that, we end up having to reconcile. Now, what could be the possible reason why the two will not be the same? This can be because of some errors and omissions. Sometimes you will notice that we are aware of a certain information, but we just forgot to record it in either both the control account and the list, or in one of them, and as a result of that, we will end up having different information. Now, what we must keep in mind is that both the debtors control account and the debtors lists, they are prepared using the same source documents, so it makes sense that they should be the same. So this is one of the reasons why we are doing this, just to get a better understanding of those possible reasons that may make us to not have the same information. Now, I'm going to be going through an activity that I took from Relab. So if you want to maybe do it on your own, you are more than welcome to take a look at the Relab that is provided by the Department of Education. And I promise you that your understanding of this topic will be much better after this lesson. So now here we are required to prepare the correct debtors control account for 31 March 2019 after adjusting for all the errors and omissions and the balance account. And we are also required to prepare the correct list of debtors as at 31 March 2019. And this is one of the things that I really want learners to understand, because this is where most learners struggle. This is a nightmare for most accounting learners. But if you listen and take into consideration the principles that I'm going to share with you, I promise you that your understanding of debtors reconciliation will be better. So now here we are given the debtors control account, and you can see that we have posted, but obviously sometimes when we post, we can make some information. It can happen that there are some errors that we made as we were posting. As a result of that, our debtors list and the control account can end up not being the same. So when we do the reconciliation, we are trying to make sure that the balance of the debtors control account is the same as the total of all our debtors list, of all our debtors which are included in the list as given here. Now, if you look at this, the closing balance of the debtors control is 91,390. But when you check the total of the debtors list is 88,780. So you can tell that the information is not equal. And the reason why this is not the same, it is because of some errors and omissions. So as we do this activity, we are going to try and control that. Now, before we get into deep details, there are some things that I want you to be aware of that might help you to be able to deal with the reconciliation very properly. Now, sometimes as we do this, you'll realize that they will give you some words that if you're not familiar with, you will not know how to answer. So this is the answer sheet that I've prepared, and this is part of, I'll do the workings here. Now, there are some keywords that we need to be aware of before we do this. The first keyword that you must understand is a small item, such as when they say something is not recorded. So if they are saying that something is not recorded, it means that that particular item is not included at all. Okay, so we need to make sure that we know what to do. So the keyword will be not recorded. It seems as if the system is very slow. So what I'm going to do, because I can see that it's very slow, I will type so that I don't waste time. But I hope that I won't lose you as I do that. So once they say that something is not recorded, then what are we expected to do if that particular set of information is not recorded? So remember, the keyword will be not recorded. It means that this information, what they're literally saying to you is that this information is not included. Okay, so if it's not included, what do you need to do? The instruction is that you must record. What you need to do is to know that you need to record where they're saying that this was not recorded. And the other word that I noticed that most learners struggle with is the word called is what we call, when they say that something is when they say that something is undercasted. And this is one of the situations that are troubling learners. They don't know exactly what do they need to do when they say that something is undercasted. Okay, so as I was saying, the next word is undercasted. So once they say that something is undercasted, it means that it was made to be less. Okay, so it was made to be less. So remember, when they say the word undercast, it means that whatever that they've given you was less. And therefore, if it was less, what must you do? Okay, now I will just not write, I will just explain because this is going to take too long. So if they're saying that something was undercasted, it means that it was less. Or let me maybe write in a Word document. I think it will be much better if I do that. So remember the keywords that you need to look at. Okay, so if they're saying that something, remember I said if they're saying that it is undercasted, it means that they've made it to be less. So if they made it to be less, in other words, what must you do? You must increase. Okay, now the next word that they normally use is overcasted. Overcasted, it means once they say that something is overcasted, it means that that thing was made to be more, so you must correct by decreasing, or which is a minus. I hope we are together. And the other thing is omitted. Omitted means this thing was not recorded. So what must you do? You must then record. It means you must record in whatever journal or list where they're saying you should record this, but you will be given clear instruction. And then the other word that we have here is when they've made an error. When they've made an error, what must you do? The first thing that you must do, you must reverse that error. You must reverse it and then do the right thing. Okay, this will make your life easy. Okay, I hope we understand each other, and this is some of the things that you need to be able to know. And so if they don't want to say undercasted, they can say understated. If they don't want to say overcasted, they can say understated. So it's the same thing. So you need to know the synonyms that they can also use for this. So now, because I'm having a technical issue with my pen, what I'm going to do, I'm going to type all my answers. Okay, so now let's check the information and get what they are saying to us according to this. So if you look at our information here, they are giving us some information that we have here. We have our balance brought down, which is 89,560 on the 1st of March. So this is what you need to start by entering. So remember, the day is the 1st, 1 March, and then we'd have I'll just write 1 Ma, because remember, this thing will not allow me to it will move the answer sheet, so I want to avoid that. So our balance according to this, maybe let me put this at the end. Our balance according to this is 89,560. So this is what we need to start by inserting, 89,560. Now we know that the thing that can increase our sales, that can increase our debtors control, is our sales. So this is what we need to look for. So on the 31st of March, we need to go and check what is our total sales. Okay, so we need to check what is our total sales, and then just open a bracket for some corrections that we might need to do. Okay, and then according to this, in our debtors control, our total sales is 270,000. So we're going to enter that 270,000 here, and we might need to either increase or decrease it. And then next we would have our bank CPJ. Now this bank CPJ represent the refund that would have to make to debtors who had paid and maybe had a complaint, something like that. So it will be used for refunds. That's why they're saying CPJ. We are the one who are paying our debtors. Maybe, like for example, if they overpaid us, we might need to refund them the difference. So we would use it on the debit side. That's why we have it on the debit side, because it's a reversal of an overpayment that was made. Okay, so we'd have bank, which is 300,000 on the debit side. So you need to know what does each column represent. So we'd have 31st March here, and then we'd have our bank column here. Okay, so we'd have that bank column here, and then it's the amount is 300,000. So once we've entered this, it becomes easy for us to be able to move. And then we also have what we call general debits of 720. Now this general debit, it is used for when we are overcharging our debtors, like for interest, you know, and so forth. So we have 31st March 31st March and then we'd have general debits, which is, according to this, it is 720. So we'd have that 720 here. I hope this makes sense. And then next, we now remember this balance, it will be balance brought down here. So I'll just write brought down, and then this will be, this sales will come from the debtors journal, and then our bank will be shown in the CPG, and then remember this is debtors journal here. Okay, and then our general debits is from the GJ, so we'll write general journal, and then we'll enter the adjusted amounts after everything. And then here, remember on the 31st of March, would have bank and discount. The reason why is because people have paid, so bank and discount allowed, and then this will be seen in the CRJ because we are receiving money. Okay, so let me maybe take this to the other side, or I'll take them after that. And then our bank and discount, according to this, it's in the debtors control, it's 266,040. Okay, so we'd have that 266,040. And then next we have the other thing that would have is debtors allowance. This will occur when debtors return things, so just write debtors allowance here. So remember, sometimes there can be some errors that will affect this also. So the debtors allowance according to this is 1.2 1,200, and this is from the DAJ, which is the tax allowance journal. So if you understand your posting, you're not going to have a problem. And then last we have journal credits, which is 1,950. So we write journal credits. Now in this journal credits, we'll only record if maybe we have written off a data, for example, or there's someone whom we have overcharged. That's when, and they are complaining about that, that's when we'll record here. Okay, so now we have tried to enter everything, but remember, we will close this off and have our balance carried down and brought down after we have made some corrections. So now we can simply go into the adjustments and hear what they are saying. So now here they're saying that the debtors control opening balance was overcasted by 6,000. So meaning that it was actually made to be more by 6,000. So remember, I said it is, if it is overcasted, it means that you must reduce it. So it will be a minus. Okay, so when we go to our answer book, we're going to say minus 6,000. So it must go down by 6,000. So we'd have that minus 6,000 here. And then the next journal says, the next transaction says that the total of the debtors allowance journal was undercasted by 210. So meaning that the keyword here will be undercast. It was made to be less, so we must increase it by 210. So we'll go to our DAJ and say plus 210. Okay, maybe let me leave some space so that we don't get confused. So it will be plus 210. And then the next transaction says that a credit invoice for 290. So it's very important that when you do this, you also highlight what is happening so that you don't forget what you need to do. So they're saying that a credit sales invoice for 2,900 issued to be below, and then they're saying that it was correctly entered in the debtors journal. So meaning that the control account is fine, but they're saying that it was incorrectly posted to the account of Smith. So this invoice was by mistake added to the account of Smith. In the debtors journal, everything is fine, but the problem is with the individual list. So meaning that we must subtract it from Smith's account and add it to Baloy. So we're going to Baloy's individual account in the list, and then here's Baloy. So we'd say plus 2,900, and then we'll go to Smith's account and say minus 2,900. So we've done the reconciliation for that. And then next, they're saying that a credit note of 5,524 Cooper was not recorded at all. So remember, if they're saying that something is not recorded at all, it means that, and remember the source document is the credit note. So they're saying that it was not recorded at all, and they also told the name of the person. So meaning that this is also then not there in his individual account. So remember, a credit note will reduce the debtors debt. So which means let's start by his list, by the list of Cooper, and minus 520 for that return. Okay, so in Cooper's account would say minus 520, and then we'll go to our debtors allowance journal here and say plus 520, and then we can then go to our adjustment that follows after that. Here they're saying that a check for 5,600 received from Hope in settlement of his account of 6,000 was correctly recorded in the subsidiary journal. So once they mention the word journal, just understand that it means that the control account has got the right information. So here they're saying that, however, the bookkeeper forgot to record the discount in the account of Hope. So the discount has already been shown in the main journal, but the problem is this person's individual account does not include that discount, and our discount according to here will be 5.6 minus let's see, 5.6 minus 6,000, and then the difference that we are getting is 400. So the account of Hope does not include that 400, so we must go to his own individual account and then subtract that 400. So we say minus 400. Okay, and then from there we can then go to the next adjustment and just understand what we need to do. So next they're saying that a credit note of 1,600, remember the source document is the credit note. Very important for you to always know what is the credit note that is used, because it will help you to know what to do. So they're saying that a credit note of 1,600 was correctly entered in the debtors allowance journal. Now remember, this has been correctly entered in the debtors allowance journal, so meaning that the main control account of all of them is fine. But here they're saying that but was incorrectly recorded as an invoice. So this was recorded, this is a credit note, but it was recorded as an invoice, meaning that it increased the account of Williams. Okay, so they're saying that it was recorded as an invoice in the account of Williams. So therefore our next question should be, what then must we do? Okay, so they recorded it as an invoice, whereas it was a return. Remember I said that if there is a mistake, what you must do, you must reverse the error. Remember, as I was making a summary here, I said if it's an error, you must reverse it and then do the right thing. So because they recorded a credit note as an invoice, when I reverse the error, what am I going to do? Remember, we are talking about the account is the account of Williams. So we're going to go to Williams account and we are going to reverse that. So we'll say minus 1.6 because they were supposed to minus it, but they added it. So once we've done this, we have reversed the error. So now what do we do whenever a credit note is issued? We subtract, because this is the tax allowance, this is a tax allowance transaction. So we'll also say minus 1.6. Other lenders may choose to double the amount, so it depends on your whether you want to double it or not. Okay, or just show it as a, I think it's 3.2. So let's go to the last transaction and hear what they are saying to us. Here they're saying that charged Baloyi 300 interest on his overdue account of 8,000. So this person was owing us 300 and then we charged him interest for that. And then they are saying that no entry has been made, so meaning that this was not recorded at all. So if this was not recorded at all, the instruction here, they're indirectly telling you that no entry was made, so meaning that you need to make the entry. And remember, we charged him interest, but it doesn't appear anywhere, so we need to record both on Baloyi's list and also in the control account. So remember I said the control account will increase the side on the general, I think it's general debit. So here on the general debit we'll say plus 300 and then close it off, and then we'll also go to Baloyi's list. Who's that person? I think it's Baloyi. Yes, Baloyi. And then we'll also go to Baloyi's account and say plus 300, and then we can close this amount off because we are done. Okay, so let's close the brackets of this bracket. This is where you are showing your workings. So once we are done with this, we can then try and see if our balances will be the same. So now what can we do? Let's just try to close off our control account first. So now we need to get what will be the final amount. Remember to show your workings in brackets, show whether you are increasing or decreasing in brackets. It will help us a lot. Okay, so now we can see that some of these amounts have not changed. So if they have not changed, you record them as they are. Okay, now normally I advise learners to straightly enter the information that is not changed immediately. So here this bank for 300 did not change, and then the sales for 270,000 also did not change because there were no adjustments that were affecting this. And then our general credits 1,950 also did not change, and then our banking discount allowed for 266,040 also did not change. And then so let's also check what is the total for our general debits, because it's the easiest that we can calculate. So we can say we will say 720 plus 300, which will give us 1020. So we'll therefore write that 1020 here. And then next we can check our correct balance. So 89,560 minus 6,000 will give us 83,560. So that is the final amount. Okay, so it's fine, we have recorded it correctly. Okay, so what else do we need to add? We also need to check the debtors allowance column. So we'd say I'll bring this calculator this side so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'd say 1,200 1,200 and then plus 210 and then also plus 520, and then the answer that we are getting is 1,930. So we have 1,930 here, and therefore after this we can check between these two which side is the biggest. Okay, so I'm going to try and underline this part here. Okay, I'm going to try and underline that box just to show you that we are talking about totals here. Now next what we need to do, we need to check between the two which side is the biggest and get the total. But what can we do to just get an idea? Check here, we have 270,000, and so already you can see that the debit side will be the biggest. When you look at this, these amounts are smaller compared to this. So we are going to add the total of the debit side and also put it here, because remember the amount should be the same and we balance. So let's see, 83,560 plus 270,000 and then plus 300 and then plus 1,020. The total is 354,880, and also the total this side 354,800. Okay, let me do it like this. But then obviously this side is not the same as this. So here on the same date we'd have our balance carried down. So we are going to have our balance carried down here. Okay, remember this balance carried down represents the shortage, so keep that in mind when you do this. So now remember the same balance carried down here should be the opening balance for next month. So 1 April 2019 would have our balance brought down here, and then so let's check what will be the difference. So remember I said that this amount must be the same, so that the difference will be 354,880 minus 1,950 minus 1,930 and also minus 266,040. The answer that we got is 84,960. So our balance carried down here is 84,960, and then which will also be our brought down here for 84,960. So we need to also check if the list is the same as this one. So let's quickly do some corrections here. Remember here on for hope we're going to have 14,000. And then let's check Cooper. For Cooper, we'll say 17,900. Let me put this in the other side. We would say 17,900 minus 520, which gives us 17,380. So this side for Cooper, it's 17,380. And then let's see Baloyi. For Baloyi, we are going to say 16,380 plus 2,900 and also plus 300. So it's giving us 19,580. We'll write it here, 19,580. And then for Williams, we would say 21,900 minus 2.9, which gives us 19,000. So our answer here for Williams will be 19,000. And then let's see for Williams how much we would have. We'd say 18,200 minus 1.6 and then also minus 1.6. So the answer that we have here is 15,000. So we'd have to add these amounts and then get the total. So let's see how much the total will be. Remember, on the debit side we don't have any, on credit side we don't have anything. So let's see, 17,380 plus 19,580 and then plus 14,000 and then plus 19,000 and then also plus 15,000. The answer that we are getting is 84,960. 84,960. So it means that we have reconciled this very well, because our total of the list and also the task control account is the same as the total of the list. They are the same. So it means that we did our reconciliation process very well. So ladies and gentlemen, this is how you do the task reconciliation. This is the best explanation I could ever give you. So if you want me to become your personal tutor, you are more than welcome to get in touch with me by using the details that are on the description of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, to share this lesson with your friends. With that out of the way, may God richly bless you. Shalom.